All right, what's up YouTube? Today I'm making a video about the beginner steps to jump rope. So starting out with a jump rope, how to choose your jump rope, how to size it. Like these are things that I didn't really think about when I started to jump rope. I just kind of picked up a rope and started jumping, but I did notice that certain ropes I didn't like using and then other ropes that I did like using. And I liked using in the beginning, I liked using a heavy rope, because a heavy rope, I was able to feel where the rope is in the air. With the 5mm rope, at the time I didn't know it was 5mm, but with the 5mm rope, I kept tripping a lot, and it wasn't a pleasant experience to first start out when I'm just trying to get my jumps in. You know, you're trying to get in that work, but you keep tripping, so you can't get a consistent flow. And what I was looking for was a consistent flow to get me warmed up so I could start my training or get whatever it is in that I wanted to get in. So in any case, I was using a heavy rope, but the heavy rope now at the time was too short for me. And again, I didn't know about sizing or anything like that. So the rope was too short. So I didn't trip as much because the rope was, it was a heavy rope, so I could feel where it was in the air. But at the same time, my placement of my hands had to be a little bit lower to compensate for my height with the rope. I think the rope might've been like 8.5 feet or something like that, but 8.5, maybe 8 feet. And I prefer right now a 10-foot rope, but as I said, at the time, I had no idea. So let me, show you guys some different things. So all right, so I'm gonna show you some different ropes that I have and that I use. And this right here is an interchangeable rope. So you can switch out the ropes to different lengths. This is a 6mm rope. I have 8, 4, and then I have a 12mm rope also. So that's a very heavy rope. And the handles in this are weighted, so you can feel where the rope is as it goes through the air. So this here is, like I said, a 6mm rope. So I'm gonna show you what I mean. So as a beginner, right, starting out with a lighter rope, this one you can still feel where it is because it's got the wire in it. So I'm okay here, right? So I can get my jumps in. Now here is a 12mm rope, and this one is very heavy, so you'll hear the difference when I jump with it. So yeah, you hear that? So here I can get smaller jumps, slower jumps, and still get good work, right? So this here is a 9-foot rope. That one's 9 foot. This is a medium, so it goes from 5 foot 9 feet to about 6'2" in height. You can use the medium rope, 9 feet, and then under that's standard. So that would be 4'9" to about 5'9", and that's 8.5-foot rope. And then anything over, let's say 6'2", 6'3", 10-foot rope. So these ropes are pretty, like they're standard in size. If you want to change them, you can cut them. I personally don't do that. I don't recommend that. I pick the sizes, but you can still do that in any case. But so like I was saying, like with the lighter rope, when you're first starting out, it's harder to get the timing down, right? So you might jump. Oh, sorry. You might jump one. I'm trying to slow down my jumps so I can show you, but you might see some start out and you jump 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So, because you're trying to get down the timing of the rope to get the jump so you're not tripping a lot, right? So with the heavy rope, you can still do the slow jumps. If you're starting out as a beginner, you could still do those slow jumps, and it would be a lot easier to get the timing down, right? So like I was saying, with a smaller rope, you jump, and then sometimes you see people, they jump in between the next jump for the timing. So I'm saying with the heavier rope, you can jump and keep the revolutions, and you're able to time it better because you can feel and hear where the rope is through the air. You hear those revolutions and you'll know when it's time to jump. So in any case, I would recommend, when you start out, personally, I would recommend a heavier rope because, like I said, the heavier rope, you can feel where the rope is. But if you want to go with a speed rope, it's all good. It might be a little bit more difficult in the beginning, but either way, you're still going to get in good work, right? So in any case, so now after all this, I'll show you some little tips that I think is a good thing to take into account when you're jumping. So when you're jumping, you want to land on the balls of your feet, right? Soft jumps. You want to have your knees slightly bent. You want to have your elbows a little bit back and your hands at about your waistline, about here, right? And you just jump small jumps, and you land soft on the balls of your feet. I personally recommend, if you can, to jump rope on a mat. I'm not a fan of jumping on concrete. It's very a hard impact, but I do it sometimes, but I do prefer a mat. I also jump rope for the most part without shoes on, and that comes from like my training. When I train, we don't train with we don't train in shoes, right? Muay Thai, kickboxing, you don't train with shoes, you're barefoot. So we jump rope barefoot. So I'm in the habit of jumping in my socks, and I'm accustomed to it, I'm used to it, I don't mind it, I like it. So that's just a preference for me, right? So in any case, like I said, you wanna have the knees slightly bent and rotate the wrists. Now with a mechanism rope, right, as you can see, the handles, they spin, right? So it makes smoother revolutions through the air. So as you see here, small jumps, my hands are at my waist. The rope has that U shape because that's what you want in the rope, right? So I'll show you a side view. See that elbow's back. Small rotations in the wrist, just a little flicks. Small jumps, landing on the balls of my feet and my knees slightly bent. So those are things that you want to keep in mind when you're first starting out with jumping rope. You want to absorb the shock, right? You don't want to take full impact on your knees with those hard jumps, landing on the whole base of your foot, right? So remember, because when you have the knees slightly bent, you land on the balls, you absorb impact, right? You see that? You absorb the impact and come back up. And it's better for the long-term use of your joints, right? See, with the heavier rope, your jumps could be a little bit slower, and you don't have to speed up as much because you're just starting out, right? So you don't gotta, the rope's not going through the air as fast, so you're not jumping as quick, right? So with a lighter rope, so this is a 6mm rope here. This is also a mechanism rope. As you see, the handles spin. So here, I'll show you guys right now. I probably have to jump a little bit. My timing's got to be a little bit quicker, right? So when you're starting out, that could be a little bit more difficult because the rope's moving faster, so you got to jump faster. And as you're starting out, if you're trying to get, like, let's say 50 minutes of jump rope or 10 minutes or whatever the case may be, and you're tripping a lot, it's kind of cutting into your workout, right? So that's why I personally, depending on what you're looking for, I started out with a heavy rope for the reasons that I told you before, but you could use a lighter rope, that's all good. And then I also have, I'll show you guys, no, not this. I'll show you guys my 5mm speed ropes. Here we go. A lot of ropes here. All right, yeah, so here, this is another 5mm speed rope. This is Black Raven. So here, I'll show you again with the time, the same thing. You gotta speed with the jumps a little bit. Quicker jumps. I could slow it down, right? But for the most part, I'm only hearing that hitting the ground, so that's when I know, okay, it's time to get up, right? But same thing, knees slightly bent. I gotta rotate the wrist a little bit more, but it's the same work. And then with a heavier rope, because I also got a heavy rope here, this is Phantom, right? So it's gonna be the same thing again, but I can hear the rope, right? I can speed it up, I can slow it down. But if you're starting, I'm saying for beginners, I personally recommend a heavy rope because I think it's easier to feel where the rope is. It allows you to sustain a longer workout because you're not tripping as much, because you can hear and feel where the rope is as it goes through the air. So those are little tips that I just wanted to let you guys know. If you have any questions or if you need more depth or anything like that, comment below and I'll put out a video on that. All right. Thanks for watching. See you again. Peace.
Trying to elevate, trying to hit the stars. It's Jump Fit Squad, yeah, we up to par. Show me what you got, show me who you are. We about to blow, shoot up like a shooting star. Ain't no shortcuts on this life map. Gotta put in work, maybe I might double back. Busy on my grizzly, really.